A week ago, a group of 6 women bikers set off to a journey from Nairobi through Kampala to Kigali on a quest to raise awareness on road safety. With accidents due to motorcycle accidents ranking the most fatal before leaving, they stopped by to discuss how to enjoy the thrill responsibly.
In 2016, we lost one of our very good friends who was a biker, and around 3,000 people die every year on our roads in Kenya alone. And we thought, you know, why not champion, why not ride for safety, for road safety? Because you notice our roads, especially in Africa, in Kenya, Uganda, the countries we pass through, and Rwanda as well, we feel like they're not built with all road users in mind. And these roads are being used by pedestrians, they're being used by cyclists, motorcycles, cars, and we are all supposed to share the road. So we've been traveling with a banner in a diamond shape, written, share the road, every life counts. And maybe just to add, the two of us are mothers, and when sometimes we feel like bikers are not viewed as equal road users, but when you see the person under the helmet, imagine someone's mother, imagine that is someone's father, imagine that someone's son, and just people to understand that every single life counts. So that is why we felt like we really needed to push the message across.
Jerry, when you view bikers, well, mostly those that are on super bikes or the likes of Harley Davidsons, are looked at mostly as reckless people on the road. And you are striking me as a difference. So what do you say would be the way to change that narrative? Like, what do you need to do as a bikers association?
I think there are different kinds of people and groupings. And yes, just like drivers, there are people who drink and drive. But that does not mean that every driver on the road is a drunk. So there are people who ride for their adrenaline. They'll ride as fast as to see if they can get to the end of their speedometer. Yeah, maybe 240, 260. Yeah, and there's that kind of people. And some do it in some very controlled areas because they know that the dangers that come with it, and they know all other road users are at risk. Others just do it on open road because, you know, they can. But for us, while we acknowledge that, we know that there's a bigger number of people that are very careful about how they use the road. And especially we as bikers, we are the body of this vehicle that is moving, this motor thing that is moving. So we are very cautious, and you'll notice the guards that we wear, the knee guards, this gear. You notice what we wear because we know that if a car cuts me off, or if a pedestrian, if a mother or an animal even runs by the road, I will brake, or I might just, you know, do reflex. I'll go hit someone or something and I'll fall. And when I fall, I want to be able to get up. And if my bike can't get up, at least I get back and go home to my children.
But do the speed limits do you justice?
It depends on what bike you're riding and where you're going. Are you in a hurry to get there, or do you just want to get there? Because it makes all the difference. Will I get there safely? Will I even get there? If I'm trying to speed my way, because there are people who ride as if they're invisible and they think they'll just get there anyway as fast as possible. So it's about being cautious about that. And let's not group everybody as one. We are all reckless riders. Yeah.
I think I want to come back to Victoria there. She mentioned something that the roads in Africa were not necessarily built for everyone. And you've been carrying a banner around for the, you know, the entire journey. And you're definitely carrying it back to Nairobi as the same way you came. When we look at most of the accidents, you mentioned some in Nairobi, and I'll just give you some figures in Kigali. 50% of the road accidents in Rwanda involve motorcycle operators, and mostly motor taxis, right? And at times, it's either they're drunk or they violated the traffic laws and regulations. So I want you to help me understand, right, what could be done to curb this.
Okay. There are three, we have three levels of, I don't know how to call it, but generally people have to get the proper training before you jump on that bike. And most people, and we see it in Kenya a lot, most people don't get the proper training. They just learn the actual skill of how to change gears, which could take an afternoon. But people forget there's a mental preparation required. There's a lot you need to know as a biker. We've gone through that. We get the proper training. Go to a proper motorcycle training academy. And then the number 2 line of defense that we use, get the proper gear. And so you'll notice our helmets, our armor jackets, our knee guards, we'll always have them all the time. We call it art guards, all the gear, all the time. And that's the message we try and push even when we talk to the border riders, because most of them think that they're saving money by not investing in this, and yet they're not. You know, they're really exposing themselves to a lot of injuries.
Would you say there should be a call for motorcyclists in Kenya, all of them, to have safety helmets, crash helmets?
Proper helmets, not watermelon helmets.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I just was blown away by the fact that you're not just bikers. I mean, you're bikers, and I respect that, but you're not just bikers. You also are directors and CEOs of different companies. How do you manage to do this?
I think because when we got together, it was something that we were doing outside of our busyness of lives as parents, as CEOs, as founders of different organizations. And this was something that we were doing for fun. Yeah. So this that we ride is something that we've set up businesses and organizations that are running well even without us, without our presence, and that they're able to run, and we can afford to be away and do something and champion for a cause that we believe in. So it works just out fairly well enough.